So we talked about something really interesting in group yesterday. Um, the topic was spirituality, and not just like in terms of religion, but just being connected. And we ended up having this conversation, um, and there's 12 of us in the group, and we all have different like faith backgrounds. And like I was raised Christian, and I became Catholic when I was 20. Um, and like I've always felt like there was a God. I always felt like I believed, even before I started going to church as a little kid. Like it's just something that always made sense to me. When it came to being abused, I never really understood it. I never understood why somebody who supposedly loved me so much would allow these things to happen. And as a little kid, I really didn't understand it. Like, why wasn't he saving me? And then through my teenage years, I kind of, I wrestled with that a bit, but I did become close to the Lord. And then I had these moments where, it's not really moments, like, spans of time where I'd be close and then I'd be farther away from him. And, but there was a good span of time there where I had a really close relationship. And that was a big part of my life. And now as an adult, I'm having a really difficult time with that. And I have been for quite some time, but especially since really trying to process all of this trauma stuff, I've had a really, really difficult time with understanding where my faith fits into my life. I always felt like when I didn't need the support, that God was always there. But when I really, really did, I could never find him. I could never hear him anymore. And having this conversation last night with some of the people at group, like, I think I realized that part of the problem is that there's no place in organized religion for people who are abused. As a kid, you're taught that, to be, good and pious and pure and save yourself for marriage, and as long as you follow those things and those things happen, then like no mortal sin has been committed, and you're good. You're a good little girl. So what happens when that's not your choice? When those things happen, when you are raped and you're not a virgin anymore, then what? Like, there's no like asterisk in the Bible. There's no you're still a good little girl. You're still pure, and even though somebody took advantage of you, like there's nothing like that. There's no exception to the rule. And I find myself having a really hard time with that, because I was raped and then I felt destroyed, like ruined, because I wasn't like the good little girl anymore. I had been like tainted, and I don't know. I think that's been my struggle for a long time. I just was finally able to kind of get that into words last night. I don't know what to do with that. And I had always wanted to save myself for marriage. Like, that always seemed like such a sweet idea to me. and not just for like the religious aspect, but because I just liked the idea of it. Like the one person that I would be with would be the one person that I'd be married to my entire life, and that just seemed so genuine to me as a young girl, and that was taken away. I didn't know what to do with that. And then when I was raped when I was 13, because at that point when I was 13, I hadn't remembered any of the abuse from when I was very young. And so in my mind, I thought that I was still a virgin, but I was not. Once I was 13 and I was raped, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle that in terms of my faith, because nobody knows what to tell you. Nobody says anything. Nobody's there for you. And especially like religious leaders, like there's nobody who could tell me, like, oh well, it's okay, you're still a good little girl, like this just this bad thing happened and it wasn't, but it doesn't count against you. Like nobody says that. So once I turned 13 and I was raped, I was like, well, I'm ruined now, that's it. And it doesn't matter. Like this mortal sin has been committed, and I'm fucked anyway, so like quite literally, it doesn't matter. So it didn't bother me like who I fooled around with or who I had sex with, because why did it matter anymore? I was already tainted. And I was after I was raped at 13, I just continued to have sex. Like I was sexually active at a very young age, and not even knowing really what it meant to be doing like the things that I was doing. It was just, I think at that point I was so sexualized that just from so many different angles, like by from when I was really young, and then again at that age, and it was just kind of like, all right, this is what men want, this is what boys, this is what you do. So I think I just become so sexualized at that point that I didn't know what else to do. And it was just what I thought was expected of me, because that's what males wanted. And so I don't know, I still have a really hard time with my faith. I still have a really hard time with, what do I do with all of this, where do I fit in? And still like where is God now? Because I still don't feel like he's ever around or ever feel him. So I don't know. Just kind of my thoughts on that. That's kind of the update of group last night. So feel free to respond if you guys have any thoughts. Let me know.